Hello everyone, BigKlingy here, just with a bit of an updates video. Now that I've finished uploading Spirit of Justice, and Persona 3 is nearing the end, I thought I'd just give a bit of an update on what's planned next after all of this, and to clarify a question that I'm getting asked with increasing frequency lately. Firstly, I should mention that, for those who saw my comments, I did get sick earlier in this week, which prevented me from recording. I have got back into recording Persona 5. You should expect 2 new episodes to be coming soon, and I'll definitely try to record more next week where possible. Definitely very excited to get back to that. I am really enjoying this. But I want to get to the big question that keeps getting asked first. And I'm really sorry for this. This might disappoint a lot of people, but I have to say this. So, that question is, will I be doing Fire Emblem Echoes when it comes out? I was actually going to make a video explaining this sooner, but then I got sick. Basically, I've been asked this question so many times lately, and there are a lot of people who seem to be taking it as hard fact that I'm going to be doing this game on launch day. Sorry to say, but no, I do not plan to record this game the day it comes out. Personally, I want to handle this game like I did Awakening. I specifically held off on playing that game until later after its release date, so I could do as thorough of an in-depth series as I could, and I really enjoyed that series personally. That was pretty much the series that put me on the map in terms of views. I actually never intended it that way at all, and was completely surprised to find it becoming so popular. But I really enjoyed thoroughly researching everything, putting all that effort into the character bios, doing as detailed of a more walkthrough style series as I could. And that's the approach that I feel more like doing for Echoes, but in order to do that, it'll have to come quite a bit later after the game's released. Something I should mention was that how I handled Fates was actually the exception rather than the rule. I just thought, hey, this is the first Fire Emblem game that's coming out since I got my 3DS capture device, so I might as well do a blind playthrough of it. It was the same for Pokemon X and Y, actually. It was more for the experience of actually doing a blind Fire Emblem playthrough, which, again, this was the first time I had that chance. And while it was enjoyable, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of playing Fire Emblem games blind. It's a series that I really enjoy, and because of that, I'd much rather take the time and effort to do a more detailed walkthrough series than just do a quick and dirty day one blind let's play. It also didn't help that I was basically forced to play on casual because resetting would break the flow of the blind run, and I wasn't really a big fan of that. Also, the Fates blind playthrough took a lot out of me. That went on for over half a year of pretty much straight recording, and I kind of felt like a break after that. I wanted the next Fire Emblem series that I did on this channel, which yes, is planned to be coming after Persona 3 finishes, to be a more walkthrough style series. Just as a change from how I'd handled Fates. And well, that is my more preferred style of series. I've mentioned this in other updates videos, but the next 2 Fire Emblem games that I planned on doing for the channel were Sacred Stones and Radiant Dawn. Originally, I wanted to do Radiant Dawn next, because I do actually like that more than Sacred Stones. In fact, that's actually my second favourite game in the series overall, maybe even my number 1 favourite. It's either that or Genealogy. And because of that, it's a game that I really love, so I have been really looking forward to getting to it. However, current circumstances may have made me change my plans. With the upcoming release of Fire Emblem Echoes, which is a remake of Gaiden, it feels more appropriate to do Sacred Stones next. Sacred Stones is a Fire Emblem game that was directly inspired by Gaiden, and a lot of its mechanics are very similar to those of Echoes, so it would be a pretty nice game to do alongside the release of that one. And I do really enjoy Sacred Stones. It's a game that I feel is quite underrated in the series, so it's one that I've also been looking forward to doing. The plan is to start this series at some point after the main storyline of Persona 3 concludes, and to have both it and the answer going at around the same time. Though there will probably be a little bit of a delay because I need to put together character bios. Thankfully, there actually aren't very many characters in Sacred Stones, so it's not as much work for me, but yeah, I don't currently have Office on my computer. That was the one thing that didn't survive the overall reboot. For some reason, I couldn't get Office to reinstall, so I'm working with OpenOffice currently, and its equivalent of PowerPoint is kind of tricky. I've got a brief mock-up of this is just a very, very quick and dirty thing that I just threw together in a couple of minutes, but this is just kind of a vague idea of what maybe Sacred Stones' character sheets might look like. It's a work in progress. I like the orangish colour scheme for the tables, it does fit well with the background here, but I'm not so sure about the colour of the growth chart. I'm going to have to modify that a little bit. Something else, though, is I may have to modify the overall layout as well, because Erica is the character that I've done the example on, and she's kind of an abnormality when it comes to characters in this game. She only has one possible promotion. Everyone else has at least 2 choices of promotion, which means I have to show average 2020 stats for at least 2 classes, and in the case of the trainees, it gets really complicated, because they have potentially around 6 different class paths they can go. They all only have about 3 classes they can end up as, but depending on how they got there, the averages vary, so it's going to be a little bit complicated. So this is something that I'll have to work on in my own time after Persona 3 is done. Sacred Stones has the advantage that it is one of the shortest Fire Emblem games in the series, whereas Radiant Dawn is one of the longest, and after such a long project like Persona 3, it does make sense to go and do something shorter. However, I've said this before, but it's deceptively not going to be that short, because even though there are only 20 main story chapters, I plan on showing both Erica and Ephraim's mid-game routes, so that'd be 5 extra chapters, along with all of the Tower of Valny and the Lagdo Ruins, so that's an extra like 12 or so maps. Plus, I plan on showing off some of the glitches, like the Repair Dragonstone / Control Enemy glitch, so yeah, it's actually going to be a bit longer than you'd probably think. So that's what's going to be coming up next for the channel, and oh boy, it's going to be hard getting back into a Fire Emblem game where accuracy exists. That's going to take a lot of getting used to. While we're on the subject of Fire Emblem though, one thing that I want to bring up here, Heirs of Fate. I did promise that I'd be doing Heirs of Fate at some point. And I really don't want to be someone who puts off bonus footage forever. In some ways, that could be a nice way to get back into Fire Emblem again just before Sacred Stones happens. The main thing that worries me, though, is, with the upcoming release of Echoes, general fandom opinions towards Fates have turned from extremely polarizing to near unanimous hatred. Every Fire Emblem video that I've seen on YouTube recently is full of comments saying Fate is a terrible abomination of a game. Part of the reason why I put off doing Heirs of Fate for so long is that I really wanted to get away from all the drama surrounding the game. It's often a little uncomfortable to put a lot of effort into videos only to find just the comments full of just so much hate on the game itself. And lately, that's only got a lot worse. So this really puts me off doing Heirs of Fate, and I'm not sure when I'll actually get around to it. I kind of feel like it's not really the right time doing it right before Echoes comes out, and the anti-Fates train is at its pretty much highest. So there's a chance that I'll do it before Sacred Stones, but don't get your hopes up. On a more positive note, let's talk about another game that I've been playing and actually recording sporadically, Persona 5. Yes, I've really been enjoying this game so far. I'm not doing any kind of commentary on it for the exact same reasons that I didn't plan on doing Echoes the day it comes out. I'd rather do a more thoroughly researched playthrough series than a quick and dirty day 1 LP. But I have been recording certain parts of the game with no commentary. I've been recording all of the confidant scenes that I've done, and my first run of fighting every mini-boss and main boss. I haven't uploaded any of these videos yet, but they're a nice buffer in case I do need to put up something in the downtime between Persona 3 and Sacred Stones. The main reason I haven't uploaded anything yet was because partly the Atlas embargo, although I've heard that that's actually been mostly lifted by now. But also, I kinda didn't want to steal the thunder of my Persona 3 videos in a way. But now that I no longer have any backlog to fall back on with Spirit of Justice, I might start making these videos. And just putting them up kinda sporadically. So let's talk about how I plan to handle these videos. For Confidants, I'm planning on making a video of the full Confidant, rank 1 all the way up to rank 10. So far, the only Confidant that I've maxed out is Ryuji, so that's the only one of those that's actually ready to upload. I should also mention that the romantic social links might take a little while before they're ready, because I'm going to have to reload saves to show both their romantic and platonic routes. And on my first playthrough, I am not doing a Gary Stu run. I am planning on only romancing one person. In case you're wondering, it's Makoto. Because I don't want the romance trophy to pop up until I do hers, I'm holding off on reloading saves to do the romances until then. Now I know by this point, pretty much everyone has been uploading videos of all the Confidants already, but I plan on including a few little extra details in mine. I plan on giving an indication of which ranks require special requirements, which ranks require Mementos quests, which I'll actually be showing in separate videos, as that'd make the Confidant videos way too long. And I'll also be showing any pre-Confidant events. Events that are required to do before you can start the Confidant itself, like Cough Cough Fortune, which requires 3 of those. I might put in little bits of text in the videos explaining which social link responses don't matter in terms of points as well, because guides that I've seen so far can be a little confusing with that. One final thing to mention, I will not be showing plot-based social links, because those are spoilers, and yeah, obviously I want to avoid that. I've also decided to handle the Strength Confidant kind of interestingly. I've recorded how I fuse the personas that you need to rank that one up, and I want to keep those in the video because that will serve as a good guide for people trying to do the link. I have recorded the actual rank up conversations, but it's becoming slowly apparent to me that they're going to hint at major plot spoilers, so I've decided that I will not be showing these. So the Strength Confidant video will just be more of a how to fuse the required personas for the Strength Confidants. Now, how I plan on handling the boss videos. This is something that I'd actually like your opinion on. I've been recording everything that I consider a mini-boss. This means anything that plays the mini-boss music, which includes the tutorial fights. Also, some of the other dungeon mini-bosses I've kind of beaten very, very quickly. We're talking less than a minute quickly. So, my idea is that I'm actually going to consolidate every dungeon's mini-bosses into all one video. Does anyone have any objections to me doing that? I feel like that's the best way to handle it, because like I said, some of the mini-bosses were very, very quick to beat. And it feels weird uploading a 50-second video. But the main thing I want feedback on is this. I'm considering cutting out all of the cutscenes and just showing the battles themselves. The main reason behind these videos is just to capture how I approach these bosses, kinda semi-blind. So yeah, regarding that, I have seen all of the major bosses on streams, so I knew what I was getting into with those. The mini-bosses, though, I was mostly blind on, and you'll actually see a lot of me fumbling around and only discovering the boss's weakness right on the hit that KOs them anyway. But yeah, that's what these videos are sort of more meant to be, just an indication of how I approach these bosses on my first playthrough. There are plenty of videos showing the actual story cutscenes out there, and I really don't want to accidentally spoil the game for people who haven't played it yet, so what I'm considering is just showing the boss fights, no cutscenes before and after. Well, the other reason why I want to do this is because one of the Awakening cutscenes corrupted and is pretty much unsalvageable, and I no longer have a save file from back then. So I would have had to have cut out the cutscene there anyway. So I'd like to get some feedback here, but personally, I really do think that I'd rather just show the boss fights themselves and no cutscenes. That way it also won't step on the toes of a Persona 5 playthrough that I'm definitely going to eventually be doing. It does feel weird showing the cutscenes now if I'm going to do a playthrough later. So with that, that's all I wanted to say at this point. Look forward to Sacred Snows in the future, and in fact, after that, I'm really not sure what I'll be doing. I'll get back to you, I guess. But before then, look forward to the end of Persona 3, and some Persona 5 Confidants and boss fights. I'm sure I'll be able to get a lot of interesting and entertaining videos out, so I hope you enjoy.